Hi. So I'm currently reading this book called Guards by Terry Prachett, and it was a part of Buddy Reads on Discord group. It was in January, I think, but I'm late to the party. But yes, I'm 80% in the book, and there's only 60 pages left to complete this book. And I want to share my thoughts about what I feel about this book so far. So it is a series, a sub-series in the Discworld series, which is written by Terry Prachett. And in this book, Cards, the city of Ankh-Morpork is explored, wherein various societies are present inside the city, which is based on the river Ankh. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly because I don't know the root or the origin of the word of the name of the city, but yes, so there are various societies, the secret societies which the city has ingrained in it since very long time. There's the magical society, there's the university, the unseen university of wizardry apparently, and there's this library in the university, and there's the librarian who is an ape and who gets infuriated when you call him a monkey. So there's that. There's another society which is a society of law, the Night Watch, and there are a few members left in the society because of mainly of corruption. And you can think of the city as a corrupted and dark place, much like the Gotham City in Batman, except for there is no Batman. But here, a dragon has been summoned back from extinction by someone, and that dragon is causing mayhem in the city, burning buildings and people alike. And the main aim of the people of the city is to get rid of this dragon. But half of the people are confused because this dragon is so powerful that they are thinking of making him as the city's ruler, because there is no competent ruler at the time or the competent head of the city at the given time. And if they make the dragon their king, there will be no wars or no one would dare attack the city. And half of the people are wondering, because as it is, no one initially attacks the city, so what point is it hiring a dragon as their king? But another group of people are still wondering, what if the dragon burns all the people, all the citizens of the Ankh-Morpork in a matter of few seconds? There will be no ruler, there will be no people to rule on, and there will be no city left to rule on again. So there's that, and this is the kind of humor which Terry Prachett offers in this book, which is very dry, which is very placed in very unexpected situations and places. So you find it quite funny because it's not in your face, I'm cracked a joke, please laugh, ha 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 kind of a joke. It is subtly, blanketed in the situations, in mostly in serious situations or situations where an active action sequence is happening, and you are so engrossed in that situation. You are just reading rapidly because you want to find out what happens, who wins, what happens next. And there's this humor which comes out of this blanket, and you can't help but laugh and smile in a good way because it is a good kind of humor. And this goes on consistently in the book, and this is what makes the book shine for me mostly, because the script written, the story written in this book is so well done. The character exploration, the world exploration, the world building, this disc world which is offered to the reader is so vast, and you get to kind of know the new sides or the new aspects of this world as you progress further in the book. Because there's another lady, lady Raskin or Ramkin, who has this tiny little dragons as her pets, and she is a part of a royalty who ruled the city many centuries ago, and she apparently knows a thing or one about the dragon species especially. And when this dragon is summoned back and comes into the picture and is causing wreckage all over the city, the night watch go to this lady to consult about what she knows, a few things about dragons, because apparently she has also written a book on diseases of dragons. So there's that. And again, so let me get to the character. So there's a night watch, which is apparently the main group in this book, which is explored, and there are only 4 or 5 members in this group, namely Vimes, who is the chief. Then there's Colin, there's Nobs, and the newly recruit, who is Carrot. So Carrot is my favorite character in this book, along with Vimes, obviously, because he is Vimes. And Carrot is my favorite because he is a dwarf whose height is higher than a normal person's height. He's taller than a normal person, but he's still a dwarf because both of his parents are dwarves and he is of that lineage. So he considers himself as a dwarf, although he has got very tall. He is a very tall heighted person. And about Carrot, there's this innocence of a newborn or an infant or a toddler or whatever you called it. There's this childlike innocence, and on this side of spectrum there's this innocence which Carrot possesses. A full grown man or a dwarf who still has that innocence of a child. And this line got me so hard, where Terry Prachett just writes that Carrot is such an innocent being that irony for him is just a piece of metal. So that this is the humor that I'm talking about. So there's a bunch of similar tasted humor. So let me just read a few of them for you. So Colin started, "Me, I don't want to be the captain. I can't do the thinking. It's not worth all that thinking just for another $9 a month." So you kind of get the gist of what the mentality of the people of this city is like. So they are doing their job because of the payroll that they are getting every month, and not because it is their duty to protect the city. Here's another one. Colin didn't reply. "I wish Captain Vimes were here," he thought. "He wouldn't have known what to do either, but he's got a much better vocabulary to be baffled in." So there's this one incident in this book where Carrot gets a cake from his house sent by a courier, and that cake, his teammates are telling him that the cake is stale because it was sent from his home way back in time and it has reached him now, so it might not be a good idea to eat the cake right now. But what Carrot says is, "A dwarf can go hundreds of miles with a cake like this in his pack." Carrot went on. "I bet he can," said Colin gloomily. "I bet all the time he would be thinking, bloody hell, I hope I can find something else to eat soon, otherwise it's the bloody cake again." Carrot, to whom the word irony meant something to do with metal. The line which I told you earlier about. So here's another of the Terry Prachett humor. He wasn't Captain Vimes anymore, he was Citizen Vimes, which meant that he could do things he had once never dreamt of doing. Perhaps he could go and smash some windows. So there's this pun of the dragon burning the whole people. The citizens are fearing that if they make the dragon their king, it won't take a second for the dragon to kill the people if he gets mad at the people. So he will burn the people to ashes in a second, and there's no reason for the citizens or the people to elect the dragon as their king. So they are debating on that topic. So if we all say we won't put up with it, what can the dragon do? Nobby opened his mouth. Colon clamped a hand over it and raised a triumphant fist in the air. It's just what I have always said, he said. The people united can never be ignited. And apparently at this point I'm just looking forward to these lines, these punchlines, these out of context or suddenly, weird, absurd kind of, but still very funny kind of humor. So I have been reading non-fiction lately, a great deal of non-fiction, and this is a kind of change for me in my reading routine because I have not read fantasy in a long time. And I think I needed that break, break in which I could just enjoy the world, the fantastical world which is offered to you by the author, which has no limits to imagination. So you just get engrossed in the world and not care about a thing around that's actually happening around you. So that was a break that this book provided for me as leeway from the daily routine of life. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying this book, and this might be the one of the best books that I have read so far. So I'll update you when I complete the book. Only 40 pages left. See you then. Hi, so I finished reading Guards by Terry Prachett the other night, and I'm really looking forward to reading the next volumes in the coming months of this year, and hopefully I'll read one volume each per month if that's what I decide. So coming to this world, this fantastical world which is created by Terry Pratchett, the disc world, where there are I found this world quite fascinating, to be honest, because there are so many elements to be explored, and I have not done my research, so I don't know about it. But from what I got to know from the book I just read is that I think they are going to explore, the author is going to explore the many societies, each in his book, like lead people in the foreground where the watch or the city watch, this was their story predominantly, with sprinkling of some other elements from the world here and there. So the next book I am starting hopefully is Men at Arms, and I have not yet started, but I'm going to discuss this book in this video. Coming to this, as I said earlier, coming to the world, there are so many elements which are just partly introduced or introduced to a certain extent, and then they just disappear from the story, except for the city watch, because this is their story, and obviously the dragons. So coming to the unfolding the world and the characters one by one. So what I understood from the book is the overall gist is that all the people belonging to all the societies and everything, generally all the people, they are being subverted or oppressed by someone in their life, and to vent it out they are forming these small societies of common interest, obviously, and they are meeting, they are venting it out or complaining and discussing amongst each other what problems they are facing in their lives. It's actually like a therapy, I guess, but I don't know, I have not researched about the story or the world in detail, but this is what I feel from the book which I just read. So there's the magical society in which there's the head, then all the people who belong to the society and work for the society, and the society in general, actually all the societies in general, they work in this form. There used to be a king in this world, but a few centuries ago the system of king was totally eradicated, because I don't know, some of them were assassinated apparently, and some were just removed from their ranks because of their behavior towards the subjects. But now this dragon apparently is to become the king of the city of Ankh-Morpork, and the people are already, as I said earlier, they are already confused about um, the should they make the dragon their king, because they are humans and the king is going to be an animal. So how can an animal, without giving in his its instincts, rule the people? So that is the question which everyone, including the societies, is wondering about. And I feel that there is such an information this is such an information dense book, because each society and each, department needs to be explored in detail, because this book just offered a gist of everything except for the city watch. I keep repeating it again and again, but I feel that there is something more to, for example, there is something more to dragons, there's something more of a story to the wizardry world or magic world. There is something more, there is a background for this unseen university, because how does it work, how does it operate, we don't know yet, except for the library, which is being seen by the librarian. He's an ape and he is an awesome character, by the way. I'll get into the detail, but this is what the world, I feel that this world needs to be explored, and I'm ready for the ride. I'm so ready for the ride. And how can I forget dwarfs? I think they have a separate working brain of their own, because they are separated from the city life. They live on the mountains, work in the mines, and the conversations which take place between Carrot and his parents, they are on a different level. The way of their thinking is so pure, so considerate, empathetic, that sometimes you feel that they have not yet explored or seen that human life which prevails, still prevails in the city. So when Carrot belongs to that mindset, and when he comes to the city in order to get recruited in the city watch, he is 100% innocent. Like, he doesn't know what adultery is, he doesn't know what greediness is, corruption is, and everything. He just he has read a book on how the law works on his way to the city, and he has mugged up all the rules which he is going to apply in his job as a member of a night watch to protect the law in the city. And he just plays his life by the book, rules of the book. And that's what who he is, because he is been brought up in a dwarf family and he thinks that way. And when everyone just dismisses his views or viewpoints, he corrects them, or he just rationalizes his thinking in front of them, saying that, for example, there was a scene where someone, where Carrot just arrests someone of a high rank, and these other members of the Night Watch ask Carrot why he has arrested this man. So he explains to them that he has committed a crime and we are the protectors of the crime and it's my job to arrest him. So why are you saying that I couldn't arrest him, because he has clearly committed a crime? So what the other members say, that we don't directly put a hand in a hand of the law in other people's lives, because there's all these factors like corruption. It's a give and take relationship, and we just can't arrest them and close the story. It's not that easy. But it's Carrot who says that he is the symbol of conscience in these members' mind. Eventually he shines in his role as a light holder of innocence and all good things. So that's Carrot. And the way his story has evolved in this book is something I admire a lot, and felt good about it, because he was a person who came with nothing in the city except for some knowledge and determination to do his job honestly, and the city life couldn't corrupt him, and that's what made me so happy. Because even when are you belong to a small town and have not lived that life, city life, all the greed and all the bad thoughts, all the influences, you get it into the brain within no time as you enter the other life of hustle and rustle, and your mind gets corrupted in no time, and you just become a part of that hustle in a bad way, and you just don't get it till the end. But for Carrot, he has this conscience in his mind constantly telling him that this thing is wrong, and why are you supporting this wrong thing? You should stand up to it, and you have the law in your hand, so why not act upon it? There was an incident in this book where at the bar, there's a bar where every night the dwarfs, they fight and drink and do nasty things inside that basement, and the city watch members tell Carrot that it goes on every day, so we don't kind of disturb them, and they have their own world inside that bar at night, and they fight and do some things which are out of the law, and we just don't care because they are inside that confined to that space, and that's their space, and we are okay with it. But Carrot goes inside, he dares to go inside this notorious place. He lectures all the dwarfs. They cry out hearing Carrot's words. They literally weep because they this conscience is their conscience is illuminated by Carrot, which was in the dark till now, and they mend their ways, the group of dwarves. So that's Carrot for you, and I love how the author has kept that one good small thing in the book, which makes me which will make you as well happy, happy in a corner of your brain. So that's Carrot. Talking about the Captain Vimes, who is the head of the city watch. So Vimes is someone who is being oppressed by a lady in his life. We don't know exactly the details who this lady is and how she is oppressing him, in what way, but he is an experienced head or the leader. He honestly, he doesn't know, he is not a pro level thinker or a pro level planner, but he just uses these motivational words for his team, and they kind of rely on him and trust him, and they have no problem whatsoever that he is their leader, and they are quite happy with him because he is considerate, and he is doing his duty regularly, honestly, not honestly in that case, but he is on the job, he is on a payroll, and he is giving it his all uh, to his job. So that's what his members or his team is happy about. So that's Vimes for you. And how that I love how the arc, the Vimes arc has turned out in a good way, because initially he was, as all the people and members of the city were, very inconsiderate and not caring about whatever is happening in the city, but at the end he takes matters in his own hand, and he shows bravery, and he shows leadership skills, and sympathy for whoever is in his pain, in pain, whoever is in pain, and he puts criminals in their own places. And that shows that he is a true leader, or he has developed those leadership qualities over all these years in the city watch. And though he is you know not applauded or given the credit he should be given for by the current rulers, the king, the veterinary, or the patrician who was the leader before the dragon thing happened, he knows the capacity that wines possesses in himself, and he uses it accordingly at the end of the story. And this is what wines stands for at the end. And I think there's something going on between this lady Raskin and wines. I don't know if it's romantic. Kind of feelings are emerging on both sides. They are not able to communicate what those feelings are, and it's complicated at the moment, but it will get to know very soon, I hope so, in the next volumes. Coming to the part where the dragons are introduced, so only the magicians, okay, so a group of magicians, they are trying to summon this dragon, uh, because they are trying to summon this dragon because they want to test it out, test out their abilities as magicians. So one of the members, he goes into that sort of thing, magical thing world. He summons the dragon, and they don't know if it has actually worked, the whole summoning process. But yes, after a matter of a few days, I guess, dragon emerges in reality. So the dragons are not extinct anymore. So the city watch members, they go to Lady Raskin, who is the breeder of small dragons, the little ones who are not harm, who do not cause any harm in general. So she is a breeder and has pets as dragons in her house. And she knows, as I said earlier, she has penned down a whole book about diseases of dragons, and she is very well versed with their behavior, their nature, how their systems work, how their body works, how magic can influence a body of dragon, and so on. So the city watch, in order to know what this big thing looming over the city, how this big thing looming over the city works, they go to Lady Raskin's mansion, because she is royalty. Her ancestors were royal. So they go there and ask some sort of questions to the lady, because it will help them know the dragon and perhaps defeat the dragon in case they have to. So this lady, she is one of a kind lady. She is brave. She doesn't give a damn about what others are thinking. She is proud that she is a royal, and she behaves so in her clothing, in her thinking, in her everyday life. Because she has a big mansion, she has servants working for her, a butler in this case, and she has a big space where she is breeding the dragons. So she has this dragon called Errol, who is a small dragon, white in color, always flapping in his wings around. And this dragon will play an important part at the end of the book, because this dragon just keeps on the funny thing about Errol is the dragon keeps on eating anything he sees around. So he can eat a kettle, he can drink a bottle of wine. Similarly, he can also drink a bottle of oil, lamp oil. He can eat boot polish or metal polish and everything, wood, table, and each and everything he can just gulp into his mouth. So one incident here, there's a funny incident in which this dragon Errol, he is kept in the city watch's office for safety reasons. And later, when they come back into the office room, they find out that Errol has eaten everything around in the office. He has just gulped it down into his stomach, and now his stomach is making some weird noises, and they fear that either he'll spit fire on them, or he'll just burst open like a balloon and destroy everything around him, or anything can happen. So they go, so that's Errol for you. And this process of him eating everything and him defeating the, or him going into the war with the prevailing big dragon has got some connection to do. So okay, another incident which made me laugh out loud was some random person mentions that to defeat a dragon you will have to aim at his vulnerables, like his reproductive parts, wherever they are. But they don't know where the dragon's reproductive parts are, because some other guy says that each dragon has these parts in different places all over their body, so you can't just generalize that this part will be constantly in this, you know, position in every dragon. So now they're confused as where to aim their arrows or swords or everything if the in case the dragon, they attack the dragon. So there was a big, related to this, there was a big spoiler alert, because they didn't, in that case they didn't consult Lady Raskin, because she knows everything about dragons. So when they aim at the dragon who is flying high in the sky, I think Nobby or Colon, someone aims at the dragon who is flying up in the sky, and the arrow just hits the scales of the dragon, the hard scales, and just bounces off back into the ground. And then then when they later find out why this thing happened, it happened because the lady, the dragon, the big dragon, the whole, the big thing, the biggest thing which is going on in this book, the dragon, they call it as the noble dragon. So he is actually not a he and she's a she. So she doesn't have any bulging out reproductive organ, because she has eggs, and that puts them into a situation, and they can't just, nobody expected this twist in the book. It's a funny twist because the reader, as you get a generalized picture that, okay, a dragon, you just relate a dragon with a male. You never think that a dragon can be a female too, because obviously it's an animal. So yeah, that's the big twist in the book, because the dragon is a female, and then Errol is a male who is a dragon. So he kind of doesn't defeat the dragon and kill the dragon, because she's a female, and apparently they both can mate and create babies in the future. So he just flies off, he enjoys the dragon and flies off, and that's the end. So that's the funny thing which I liked in this book. So overall, I had a great time reading this book and sharing. Now I'm having a great time sharing my thoughts about the book in this video. So the next book which I have just started is The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read. So this is this is written by Philipa Perry, and this is a self-help book for new parents. So apparently, after becoming a parent myself a year back, I am just searching and going around in the on the internet and in the online library stuff to find out more books about parents, generalized new parenting skills, and rearing a child and taking care of a child, at what age the child, what is appropriate for a child at what age, and everything, the common parent research which is going on constantly in my mind, because if my daughter doesn't eat anything in sufficient quantities, I get worried about it, like all new parents do. But yes, this book, as I was as I was talking about this book is generally about, you know, how you can nurture a child, or baby or toddler, a child, in a good environment, and you are responsible for providing that environment to a child, and his entire development will be dependent on what and how you know, nurture a child in overall, not just feeding and making the child sleep and everything, but how you behave with the child. If I'm sitting on my phone in front of my child and he or she is playing by herself, and I'm like, oh okay, he's playing, and so let me just, you know, scroll on my phone, and I'm scrolling non-stop for 15 minutes, and the child, I don't notice the child, but the child is noticing me, because I'm not paying attention to whatever he's playing around and showing me, and hopes that I pay attention to him and expects from me that I get involved in his playing. But I'm not doing that, because I'm constantly on my phone, and the child observes me from far, and something in his mind, you know, something in his mind is patterned accordingly. His or her mother is on the phone, so she doesn't pay attention to me, so I am free to do anything, because either way she's not going to scold me if I do something out of the way which my parent won't like. So that way the child is, the brain of the child develops in that way. As to how you can effectively change yourself, also bring confidence in yourself, because being a new parent is a whole roller coaster ride for itself, and half of the parents, they immediately regret when they give birth to a child, because personal time becomes negative, 0 to negative, and you don't actually get that free time, because when the child sleeps at night, you are down, like literally you are so tired that any private time that you get at that moment, you just need to you know, get your sleep, because if you don't, then your mind is you know, ticking time bomb. So you need that sleep, and these are the small things, everyday things, which the author has written very well. I am currently on page 45 of this 300 something book, and I'm to a few things I'm relating myself to, and there are a few things which I'm getting to know newly, because I haven't experienced them as of yet. And I'm getting ready for it, because this book has something which I don't know, so I'll dig into that book and let you know how I overall feel about this book. So bye bye.